He is no longer with. That's not true. He's just not here tonight. He'll be back.
I heard he got a lot of letters, so he got suspended. He's not.
We love Jay, and he'll be back next week, I'm sure. So he's just doing stuff tonight, which happens,
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah.
So we have John from Boston.
Hey,
and we have Howie. John has been joining us now for the past couple months because he came up with Boston John's Record Roundup, our show that our little segue we do before every show where we talk about an album that we recommend to our listeners. So we always let John go first because it's his idea.
And I have the physical record some of the time.
Yeah.
Once in a while, because, I've been around that long. Well, thank you. The record roundup today will, I'll give you the choice. I've got a 79, which isn't really because it's a comp, and I got an 82. I was thinking I'd go with the 82 because I don't think we've talked about these guys yet.
Let's go with the 82.
82? What time is it?
Nice.
Okay. Offering the best sounds of Minneapolis. Heavily influenced and probably written entirely by Prince.
Absolutely was.
Morris who? Morris who and the what? Right. Morris didn't have any credit back then. It was just the time, and he wasn't sold off as a name. But all the clocks, of course. So this gave us such greats as Wild and Loose, 777 9311.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody Walk Your Body, Everybody Walk.
The Walk, yep.
There were some jams on this. So even before Purple Rain hit and everyone suddenly knew who Morris Day was, this was a really good record. This was a good, funky record. Of course, with Terry Lewis, Jesse Johnson, Jelly Bean Johnson.
Yeah, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were still with
Jam's on here.
Yeah.
This is a solid record. So if
Jesse Johnson was with them, right?
Jesse Johnson, the guitar player, who went solo later. Yep. And he's great too.
Yeah.
Probably all we can, more stuff. Actually, Jesse Johnson, I think, wrote some of his own. But this put Morris, this odd-looking man, on the map, and we all paid attention. And I remember playing a lot of this before, and this was pre-Purple Rain, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
The Jungle Love and the Bird and all the stuff that came later. But this is actually a really good one to add to the collection if you don't go that far back with Morris Day. So.
There's one album before that. That's their self-titled Time album, and that's got Cool on it.
Mm-hmm.
When you go COOL, yeah,
it couldn't have been that much further. What, probably 81? It was probably right.
Probably, yeah. The kids were doing that in the car when they were little. I would teach them to, I played on the radio. They go COOL.
Yeah. But for a heavily dominated disco market, it's funky enough that it sounds like it would be like P-Funk type stuff. It's a lot of bounce, a lot of keyboards, a lot of synth. But overall, really, really great record. So that's my pick of the week.
Do you know the story behind the Time? At least the first 3 albums. So you've got self-titled, What Time Is It? And Ice Cream Castle, which was the one from Purple Rain. After that, Pandemonium, that's a little different. But at least the first 3 Time albums, that is Prince. So when he signed his deal with Warner, they only let him do 1 album a year, but they told him he could produce artists. So he wanted to get more music out, and he had ideas and projects he wanted to do. So I think he was the persona that he used was, I believe it was Jamie Starr. Who is put down as a producer on that album? Is it Jamie Starr and the Starr Company?
It is Starr Company, yeah.
It's Jamie Starr and the Starr Company, yeah.
Yeah, not listed as Jamie specifically, just mixed at Starr Studios.
Starr Company, yeah.
That was his non de plume, huh?
Yeah, one of his many personas.
Yeah.
So Jamie Starr was the character that Morris Day plays. Prince did that, the voice and everything. And Morris adapted it because what Prince would do is say, okay, fine, I can produce an artist. So what he would do an entire album, play every instrument on it, sing it, everything. And then you would bring Morrison with the band. The band would have to learn everything note for note so they could play live. Morris would have to learn every singing note for note so he could play it live. And that's what it was. There are a few exceptions where Morris did write a couple tracks.
I looked at this one just real quick to see who they gave the writing credits to. It says all music written by The Time, unless otherwise designated. And 777 was one that's listed to Morris, and Gigolos Get Lonely too, as Morris exclusively. But
Gigolos Get Lonely 2 is on that album?
Yeah. Slow Jam. Yeah, I remember playing that from back in the day. That was kind of.
I was thinking that was on Ice Cream Castles. That's weird.
There's another one like that too. There's another.
Yeah, there is, and I
really
can't
good
remember the name of it. It's they're in the restaurant. It's almost exactly the same sort of thing.
Yeah. Chili sauce. Chili sauce.
Chili sauce. You're right. It's chili sauce.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Chili sauce. That's his line.
I know, like on Prince's album, was it either Controversy or Dirty Mind? There's a song in there called "Party Up" that Morris wrote, and Prince swapped songs with him because he really liked it. But that's actually Morris Day wrote that song, but they swapped songs. So something that Prince wrote ended up on a Time album. And anyway, so that's how
a never-ending pen. Prince, he wrote something silly like a couple of hundred songs for Purple Rain before deciding on the final 10 or 11, right?
Well, it's like,
I mean, out like nobody's business.
The Glamorous Life album and A Love Bizarre, Sheila E., that's all him. All the Vanity 6 stuff, all the Apollonia 6 stuff.
Right.
All the family stuff. You know,
and they could do it quick too. I remember the whole "Take Me With You" story off that record. That was like one of the last ones he did because they needed a song for the scene. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got it. Boop, 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 done."
Just a machine.
Amazing, you know, quite a talent.
Yeah, good pick. Really good pick. I dig it. Howie.
All right. Well, I was caught by surprise here. Since Jay is not with us, I did a lot of research and prepped on this for Jay and his son Colin.
Do you want to save it for when Jay's here and do something else? You can totally. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't have a second pick then.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Other than I can go into I don't know the name of the album that
I pull them out of my butt. I didn't even know with yet.
You're among friends. We'll figure it out.
Rammstein. I've been going into that dark wave thing in a little bit.
Oh, with like Du Halst and all that stuff?
The band is called Rammstein, and
Rammstein.
The song that I watched today, with that opera singer that does the analyzing, the charismatic voice.
Yes.
And it's called Engel, which is German for angel.
Okay.
So I watched the video, and the guy, you know, and it's a live, she does live, because she wants to analyze the voices. And he comes out on stage, and he has wings on his back and a harness on him. And it looks to me like there's 6 or 8 cables dragging behind him. And I'm thinking, well, wings, they're going to fly this guy over the audience or something, right? But no, I mean, it was a really good song, but the wings spread, it must have been 8-10 foot wingspan. And it really looked like feathers and everything else, but you can see him leaning forward because the thing must have been very heavy. The cables certainly were heavy, but they had, you know,
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Well, partway through the song, the tips of the wings, they open them up. It's part of the thing. And of course they light up the wings. And there's little tiny flames coming out of the tips, and then at a crescendo, fireballs shooting.
Yeah,
out, you know?
That happens a lot at Rammstein.
Yeah,
really love
fireballs, fire coming out. Then towards the end of the song, he actually had strobe lights on the wings that were flickering and making. I'm like, when are they going to put this guy in there? And I'm thinking, maybe all that stuff's too heavy. But what it reminded me of was a band called the Straubs that was a prog group way back when King Crimson was doing stuff like that. And I actually saw them in concert, and the Straubs singer actually had wings, just like Rammstein, except they actually used, flew him in the air, and he came from behind the drummer and then landed in front of the microphone with the wings on and did that. And that was back in the 70s, except Rammstein took it like 10 steps further.
They love fire. They really love fire.
Oh my God. The flames were shooting like at least 20 feet, but he was very far from the band. I guess he didn't want to have a Michael Jackson incident because
there's a reason they all have short hair.
No, well, he had, how in the movies when they put that special gel on you, his hair was slick with that special fireproof gel. So was his face and the suit. So that was the crescendo to the end of that particular concert.
You need some SPF sunblock at the Rammstein shows. When they start lighting stuff off on stage, you get a suntan.
Everyone in Germany calls them Rammstein.
Rammstein. Okay.
Rammstein. Like Stein, definitely Stein, not Steen. Steen sounds like Bruce Springsteen. It's Stee and it's Stein. Rammstein. And the album is called, and Jesus, I don't know. I put it in the chat. SEHNSUCHT. It's very German. We'll just call it that.
Well, the spelling on YouTube is RAMMSTEIN.
Yep, Stein.
So
they still Stein it, yeah.
Yeah.
Steen is STEEN. Stein, like it'd be like a beer stein. It's very German. Rammstein.
Yeah.
So in the album,
I enjoyed it because it brought back memories about, okay, they took an old idea and took it to the next level. Amazing.
Yeah. Heavy pyro and heavy lyrics too, because I've Google translated some of their stuff. If you turn some of them into English, there's some creepy stories hidden in.
Well,
it's
yeah. The album, the one album that they did, is a history of Germany, and they actually gave a warning when I, watched the album on YouTube, that like, hey, this may not be suitable, because he gave a true story of Germany's history from, like the 15th century on up, and, the Nazis and stuff that they're not proud of. But he laid it out, in these songs. So, it was pretty dark. It was pretty dark. And he's got that very deep voice,
ENGEL, Ingel, or whatever they say it. It's on the same album that Du Hast is on, which is the big hit. Du Hast. DUHAST. Du Hast. That's the big Rammstein hit. So that album would have that track on there too.
Excellent.
Loosely translated means you hate me, and that's what.
Is that what it means? You hate.
Kind of the loose German translation of that. And they got some dark stuff. They tackle like cannibalism. They got all kinds of dark roads to get on. If you ever want to have the data, Google.
The Germans are like, oh, you want to do something scary and goth?
Yeah.
Hold my Stein.
Right. It's very crunchy and very industrial. Very
yes.
Power. It's like that White Zombie groove, that driving beat that was so big.
I've heard hard house mixes of Du Hast. I mean, it was a huge song.
Yeah. Their stuff's crossed over. I mean, it's a danceable beat, and they just mellow it out a little bit, take a little of the edge off it, and it's people still bobbing around to it,
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, good pick, Howie.
So
well, it was impromptu. I hope it was okay.
No, you did fine.
I was on the spot here.
I was here to help.
I prepared, but you saved me with the hit.
It's okay. So, I I don't know. We brought this up last week. I don't remember if it was on the show or if it was after the show. Talking about CD compilations and how it's kind of a neat idea to go out and find these now, because what you can do is rip these in and have all these great songs. And it's a better value than downloading off iTunes or Amazon.
And it's a higher quality because you get to choose if you want WAV or 320
or FLAC or whatever you want. Yeah.
If you download from Amazon, it's variable bit rate. The highest quality you can get, like just from Amazon. I don't know what iTunes is like, but it's 256 is the highest rate you'll get from Amazon.
I didn't know that. I thought I was getting all 320 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
depends on how busy their servers are.
So this is one that I'm real happy about, that I'm glad I paid $50+ for. This is Greatest Hits of Dance.
Yeah.
Telstar puts it on.
How many discs are in that?
3.
Oh, you got a bargain then.
Well, back then it was a bargain. And it would still be a bargain today if you add up how much these tracks would cost to download.
Right.
And it's chock full of bangers. Like bangers. Like it has Pump Up the Jam. It has Ice Ice Baby. It has You Can't Touch This. It has En Vogue and S Express and Inner City and just tons of stuff. It has 2 Unlimited. It's got so many cool songs on it. It was a great value back in the day, and it would still be a great value now. And I just did a video on this. I haven't pressed upload yet, but it's uploaded. I haven't pressed publish yet, I guess. Talking about this kind of stuff, where you can go to Goodwill or you can go to Salvation Army and find weird stuff like this for pennies. Pennies.
Yeah,
sometimes even your local library has them.
The one near me, well, yeah, but the one near me, it's run by some church. I can't remember the name, but yeah, $1 every CD. I mean, they have a lot of them,
like St. Vincent de Paul, or
but I'm not really into Doris Day much, so I didn't really find anything the last trip I went there.
You never know what you're gonna find.
Like you should be in the Library of Congress. Yeah,
you have to
be already
keep
documented.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's the thing. Well, Brian, like you say, for the 60 songs that are on the 3 discs, you spend $20 a record.
I think 50? It's 50.
Yeah,
I think it's 50.
If you one-off song and you had to buy the 20 records that would have the 50 songs, right?
But they're all really
you only get one good song out of 10 or 15. So
I don't know if my reading glasses are anywhere near me right now.
Well, I know that everybody says, oh, that you can buy a song for it. You can't buy a song for $1. It's with tax. It's $1.38 for each song, whether it's iTunes or Amazon.
Let's see. I'll give you an idea what the track listing is on here. Give me just a second. Because it's very impressive. Okay, so Snap the Power, Heavy D and the Boys, Now That We Found Love, Black Box, Right on Time, Bizarre Inc., I'm Gonna Get You, CNC Music Factory, Gonna Make You Sweat, Sabrina Johnston, Peace, Rosella, Everybody's Free, Feel Crazy, En Vogue, Hold On, Kim Sims, Too Blind to See It, Inner City, Big Fun, Crystal Waters, Gypsy Woman, Eastside Beat, Where I Like to Win, Kathy Dennis, Touch Me All Night, Sunscreen, Love You More, Steam from S Express, Salt and Pepper, Let's Talk About Sex, PM Dawn, Set Adrift on a Memory Bliss. That's disc 1.
Wow, you haven't got a stinker at all on those.
I mean, it's something you may not be familiar with. My argument for compilation CDs, like good ones, a good compilation CD, my argument for them is 2 things. And I did a video on this. Like I said, I'm posting it. If you want to see more, I rant for 11 minutes about this. Not only can you get them dirt cheap, okay? Not only the word on the street is this is the next collectible. Like it was records and it was cassettes. Now this is it. It seems like when everybody disposes of something and they get rid of it, that's when it comes back. And that's what's happened. Everybody's throwing these away right now. So now might be the time to hoard these. But a great argument for a good compilation like this for DJs who need to expand their music library, or maybe they just love music and want to learn more about it, is that whoever put this together put some thought into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like their research was done. Yeah.
There are
A&R
some
people took the time. Go ahead.
There are some compilations
we
out
see
there.
this all the time in the groups. Like, hey, what's a good record pool that I can get? It's like you can't. There's no legal pools to get a collection like that.
Not an older one.
So it makes sense for them to go to the Goodwill or whatever and hunt.
Sure. Well, not all the labels played nice together either. Like you never saw Michael Jackson on a compilation or Madonna. I mean, that was Epic and Sire, and they just wouldn't lend their stuff to that. They didn't want to be a part of the, you didn't buy my record,
Yeah, but some of this stuff though, what's so cool about it is somebody sat down and put together a collection of songs that make sense together. So what's cool about that is at the time it was great because a lot of this stuff's very British, but it's really good. And it eventually did cross over here. I didn't know the songs, but I knew they were on this collection, so they went well with the other songs on it. There are some collections out there where they're just grabbing the cheapest wholesale songs and throwing them on a disc. They're not very well thought out about how they go together. But some of these are really good. Then now, that's what I call music CDs. John and I were talking about those before the show. They're very well thought out. Those songs typically go together. So you can get your promo only or Top Hits USA monthly download and have thousands of songs, and you don't know what the bangers are.
Right.
Or you can get this,
and
it's spoon-fed to you what the bangers are. You now have a collection of music, and not an overwhelming collection of music, but a collection of great music. So you can go onto your search engine on VDJ or Serato, Greatest Hits of Dance. Okay, let's look at these. We know these songs go together. It's almost like a crate, if you will.
I'll tell you how I built my country music crate. I'm not a big fan of it. So I went and I bought compilation stuff so it's hey, you got any country? Yeah, I do, because I ripped the CDs I got off for $1 at the, I mean, and where I went, it was at an urban area, and somebody donated a bunch of country stuff, and they wanted to get rid of it. Some of them were only 50 cents.
Sure.
Because it's like the other stuff was going like hotcakes because of the location, and the country stuff was just taking up space, and they wanted it out of there.
Who's the Shania Twain chick? I don't know.
Yeah, who is this? Yeah,
Shania. Yeah, never heard of her.
Do either
rapper
one of
or something?
Do either one of you remember a CD called Dancing Country?
Yes.
It was put out by Hot Hits, which was a jukebox only company. And it had all the dance remixes of like Boot Scootin' Boogie and Chattahoochee and all that stuff. So when that was hot in the 90s, every DJ wanted that disc because it just spoon fed it all to you. All the hot country. You didn't need to have anything else.
They were edited though. That was edited because jukeboxes, just like the ones now, they don't want like Leonard Skinner,
Freebird,
17 minutes Freebird. No,
no,
nothing.
My
over
Dancing
3
Country
minutes.
was extended versions.
Really?
Very long. Yes. Boot Scootin' Boogie was like 7 or 8 minutes long.
Oh my God!
It was the extended dance mix. It was specifically for country line dancing. So they were the long versions.
Well, that was,
Country.
I remember that. I remember all of a sudden they had at this one club that would fit. It would fit. Actually, Lori knows about this at a place called Dorney Park, and they had a roller skating rink there. But then on weekends they would have when Carter was president, all of a sudden, and you had Urban Cowboy, the movie came out, everybody was a cowboy all of a sudden, and they actually taught the line dancing, and it was so big of a rink. I mean, it was like twice the size of a normal skating rink. And they did a bang up job for getting people out, and it lasted like 2 years, and then it was gone, and then they went back to dance music.
Trying to
and then it burned down, and that was the end of that.
Trying to locate this on Discogs, and I'm not having any luck.
Probably not that many that know about it. Or those secret compilations are gold.
Well,
you know what? Like you say,
I can pull it on my personal library here if you give me just a moment here, because I know I've ripped that in its entirety. I think I have. We'll find out in a second.
And all those songs you read off for the people watching. I mean, if you don't know the song by name, once you hear it, you'll know it. Every single song you mention, like, oh, I can't place that. Yes, you will. You go listen to it. Rewind it back.
You will.
Go listen to it. Like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I know that. Oh, if you don't, you should.
Well, see, that's the beauty of it, though. When you pop a song on like that somewhere, they go, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that since back in my day, and it makes their night, Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s. I mean, there was a lot of stuff dropping all at once too. I mean, it came fast and furious for a while there.
Oh,
buying a lot of records back then.
Yeah.
Just every week there was like 20 different singles on the radio that were hot. Like, well, gotta have them all.
I spoke too soon because I don't seem to see it in my library. Let me just try something. Okay, Boot Scootin' Boogie. You know what? I never ripped in Dancing Country. I never did. I got to do it. I own it. I own it
now.
I have to. I mean, will I use it? I don't know. But
last copy in existence, everyone else went. Right?
Well, it was hot. It was really hot. Every mobile DJ I knew had a copy of Dancing Country.
Yeah.
I'd order it.
Almost every event, you're going to have a country fan there. And, inevitably, someone will come up and you'll have a full dance floor and they'll go, hey, can you play some country? Like, okay, it better be some high BPM that you can kind of,
if you're going to drop a handful of country songs, they got to be the good ones. It's got to be The Man I Feel Like a Woman or Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. It's got to be something that's going to hit.
Right.
Get them going,
Yeah.
There's no time for B-list.
And then you have the chance, because the BPM side, to go back where you were. Just in case the dance floor clears.
Now I'm on a mission. Okay. Oh, this is not it. Here we go. Hottest Dancing Country. Okay, this is it. It says volume 5. There's got to be it was volume 1.
Oh, so there's a few anyway.
There are. Volume 1's the one that you wanted. Let's see. Volume. Jesus. Let me try this again. Talk amongst yourselves.
That's 5 CDs. That's at least 100 good country songs. If they made it,
maybe
at least 20 each. Take that, MJ.
I don't think I would play 100 country songs.
Well, if you're in a country bar, hopefully you would.
Well, I don't do bars anymore, but I think the most country songs I've ever played at an event was 3.
I did first. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I'm just looking.
Like back in the day, like when we were like DJing in the early 80s, whatever, like you had Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton and a lot of crossover stuff. It was on regular radio. It wasn't there wasn't a separate channel for country. It was just on with everything else. Glenn Campbell and all those guys. Like that was just all there. It was just called music. It's like, yeah, it's got a little bit of a twang, but it would still fit right in with pop radio between Chicago and Three Dog Night, and hear it in regular airplay, you know?
So Jeremiah was a bullfrog then.
Was
he a friend of yours?
He was a good friend of mine.
He was? Okay.
A good friend of mine. Don't be talking about Jeremiah.
I never understood a single word he said.
But he helped me drink my wine.
Yeah, that lush.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody asks me why I'm the way I am, I'm like, you understand that these are the kind of lyrics that were hot when I was a kid. They didn't make sense.
They didn't make any sense.
But we just accepted that, okay, that's how it goes.
Yeah. Who names their dog Boo, and why are you traveling across the land with him?
Yeah, alligator lizards in the air. Sure. Why not? Let's go with it. These days, somebody would, what does that mean? I don't understand. You know what? We understood that they were just high.
Right.
And they wrote good music. And that was okay.
They admit that in some of those interviews that you see, like, now I can't think of his name, but the professor of rock, and then you have the other fellow. And they go, hey, look, we just, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like we needed a song, and
sometimes it's a dream or whatever.
What rhymes with orange,
Door hinge.
Yeah.
It's not many.
So, yeah, I guess, wow, we're really cooking here on our time. Time has flown, guys. Time has really flown.
Yeah, this has been a fun one.
It has. Yeah.
That is rapping about this, No, I talked about Dancing Country Volume 1 being really good. And the reason I said Volume 1 was really good because Volume 2 is never as good as Volume 1. Volume 2 and those that go after it are capitalizing on the success of Volume 1. But Volume 2 isn't terrible in this case.
Okay.
It's not awful. But Volume 1 is arguably much better.
That first disc could have made 3 CDs and then some filler. That would have been a disc. The first 3 could have been all stellar, but a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
There was no fluff in that first one. That first disc you read off, nothing. It was all good, all bangers.
It is an import. And from our perspective, everybody in this room, it's an import. In England, this was no mystery. But there were some things on here where it was like, okay, what is that? Like,
did you buy imports at your local record store, Brian? Like, I had to go to like record shows, like baseball card conventions, and they had a little section of records, and you could get some of those European imports or
the places I had. We had stores that had imports. Absolutely. Camelot Music was a chain, and they had imports. We also had a store called Atomic that had really cool imports and really cool bootlegs. There were several. There was one on the east side, right across from the Jazz Oasis. That was the bomb. I bought some really good stuff there. Yeah.
Is it just straight up European releases or discs specifically made of remixes? What would you find?
All kinds of stuff. Like I just remember whoever was the purchaser at our local Camelot really stocked us up with some neat imports. So when I went into that store, I'd always go to the import compilation section. Mm-hmm. I didn't bother with domestics. I went to import because I knew I'd find the interesting stuff there.
Yeah, like you say, if there's a good program director, more or less, like if that was a radio station, that's all the good stuff.
Yeah,
who was making the buys and choosing to bring that stuff in.
I don't think that
that's a stellar job done.
I don't think that they sold a lot of them because I was the one who bought most of them, and if I didn't buy it, it sat there for a long time. But they always had a good, healthy supply.
So you start playing them out, and then everyone's coming in looking for the records you have. Like, this is the place that's got the imports, and like, I guess we'll have to get a second one because Brian.
I remember when these came out, they literally had them stacked. Like, remember the CD racks or record racks go up one side and down the other, and there was a little shelf on top. They were just sitting up there, wrapped up with a price tag on them, and there were like 8 of them or whatever. I bought 2 of them, but I didn't buy them. I bought them 6 months apart. So they sat there for a while, but it didn't matter. They were cool. And I got a whole bunch of stuff that I bought off of that store. And sometimes I would buy it for a track, just one track. And there was one, I remember there was a price tag down here and you couldn't open it. And all I could see was Cashmere. I couldn't see the song Cashmere did, but I was hoping it was Percolator. So I bought the whole CD, hoping that it was Percolator, and I spent 40 some bucks on it. It wasn't. It was something else, Cashmere. But there were other really good songs on there. So I discovered all this music I wouldn't have known otherwise.
That's not bad.
I just had a blast in the import section, and it really kind of shaped me because I always kind of went after the different stuff. It's this way today where you hear hip hop all the time. You hear this certain type of EDM all the time. You hear a certain style all the time. And back then it's like, okay, I've heard it. It was nice. What's next? I always want to know what was next. And usually if I really wanted to find what was next, it was coming from Europe. And it wasn't maybe, even mainstream there, or it was Chicago, like the house, deep house stuff or whatever. That was always interesting to me. But I'm a music geek.
Well, if you're buying music so far ahead, like you say, Brian, you probably you may have already had what's next in the collection, but it hasn't broke yet. Because we're always a little bit ahead of the curve. We have stuff that they're not ready. It's not even on the radio yet. Nobody knows about it and then you realize, oh my God, I've had this for like 3.5 months already.
There were so many like that.
Blowing up the charts, right?
Remember Dirty Vegas Days Go By?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had
commercial. That was in like a Mitsubishi commercial.
I know I had that in 2001.
Yep.
When did the Mitsubishi commercial come out? 2004. So everybody wanted to hear it.
It like came back, right? It had been out a long time, but then
nobody knew it though. Most people didn't know it. So when the commercial came out, then all of a sudden everybody wanted it.
Yeah. The same thing like Steady As She Goes was another one that showed up in a car commercial. And
can't get it out of my head. I mean, I had that way before it hit here. I was all ready to go. I knew all the songs, and all of a sudden, MTV is going to play it, and we're going to release it in the States. It was like a year or two later, but it was happening in Europe.
That's really said on something to let it marinate for a good long time, though, isn't it?
There's weird ones. There are weird ones out there like that. Yeah. The one I can think of. Do you remember when the Proclaimers came out with 500 Miles?
Right.
It was from like the Benny and June movie, I think.
It's a movie, yeah.
And what was that, mid-90s?
Yeah, I thought it was actually older than that.
Well, here's the thing.
I thought it was like an old folk song,
it feels it, yeah.
The song came out in Ireland in 1988.
So I was right. Now,
if you consider 88 old folk music, yes.
Yeah, when you talk about the imports, my experience with that was there was a split family in our neighborhood, and this one kid who was friends with me, from when we were little up through high school, he would spend summers in England with his dad, and then he'd come back and live with his mom. But he always brought 45s back.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh man, this is really good. But we could not get them here. And then, 9 months to a year later, all of a sudden it's on the radio here in America. I mean, like I heard the Rolling Stones before, they were on, Ed Sullivan, because of this kid brought a 45 over.
It does go both ways too.
Yeah.
They're not hearing our stuff, if at all, not right away. The one that killed me, just from personal experience, I had a friend over there, and they're talking about American bands. And this was before, Facebook and all that. This was a long time ago. So there wasn't quite that information out there, and YouTube and whatever. I remember them telling me that Heart was a band that they mentioned. It's like, yeah, well, Never is a nice song. That was on their first album.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, Heart Never came out in the 80s. It was on their first album. Like, that was not their first album.
You blame
What do you
MTV for that. That's an MTV issue because that's what they saw. They didn't see Crazy on You.
You know that they had a like amazing career in the 70s. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's an 80s band. Like, no.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm turning them on to like Barracuda, Magic Man, straight on like, oh my God, this is better. I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
Of course it is.
Right. The 80s kind of watered them down a little bit. They were a rock band.
This is real heart. This is where it came from, you know?
Yeah. I know that's true because I had a band in the mid 70s that covered 3 songs from Heart. And of course it was Barracuda was certainly one of the most popular ones. But I mean, man, it would just pack the dance floor.
Oh, that was great stuff.
Here for it. I mean,
I loved it when it came out.
Cover band, you know?
I was a little kid and I loved it. We had Dog and Butterfly. We had Greatest Hits / Live. We had all that stuff.
Well, they flipped into the hairband ballad and cashed in on that big time for the All I Want to Do song and Dreams and all that stuff. That
you got to stay relevant.
That came along.
It's not bad.
We need more haze in the music video. Make it more smoky, right?
There's nothing wrong with those songs. But Barracuda, Magic Man, come on. Superior songs. I mean, really.
Well, my experience with them is you could still sneak them in and people will go, whoa.
Yeah.
They will. They just be like, I mean, you're not going to hear that at Home Depot over the PA. You're not going to hear it.
Well, the point being is it does go both ways.
I heard Loverboy at Lowe's the other day. It was playing, and I actually sent it to Jim, our officer, Jim.
Did you really?
I sent him a video. I'm like, I think I hear Hold On Loose. No, Hold On Loose.
Turn Me Loose.
Yeah, Turn Me Loose is what it was. And I'm like, I'm standing there in the paint section, like aisle 13. I'm like, is this Loverboy at Lowe's? Really?
Oh, with the lucky one.
So yeah, it happens. That stuff that's considered, safe oldies for hardware stores.
Yes,
that's the new category.
Well, we are not Howie, but you and I, John. We are the demographic that everyone's trying to sell to, because we're supposed to have our generation's supposed to have the money. We don't. Boomers still have it. Howie still's got the dough. Well, Howie's friends have it, but yeah. We're the ones buying for kids.
Not me, my friends.
Supposed to be. So they cater to us. They do it in the grocery store. Big time.
I don't know. My Lowe's flip-flops, because the month or two before that, they were playing The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, and I sent a snippet of that to Robin. And I was like, here's that song you can get out of your head for about 2 months. Here it is right back again. You're welcome. Thank me in the usual fashion.
So kind of you.
So they do kind of do rock, and they do Motown, and they just play everything. And it's just like, wow, I can just sit in here and just write down the songs for the day. I'm just curious in that respect. I'll take longer to shop. I want to see what they're going to play next.
A weird one, like I forgot about. It's been a long time. Normally when I go into a store like that, I'm hearing familiar things. But it was a long time ago.
It wasn't Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift. I mean, apparently the generation isn't buying paint yet.
No, not playing for them. Not even kind of playing for them.
Right. Well, and she wouldn't allow her songs to be played anyway.
Well, in the 80s, they were playing Carpenters and crap for my mom,
Right.
For when she was shopping or whatever, that kind of easy listening kind of thing.
Easy, yeah.
And when I was a little guy,
softer.
I remember elevator music. It was like Herb Albert was like hardcore, compared to the crap they were playing. Instrumental.
Well, they actually had a music service.
Muzak, right?
Muzak.
Yeah,
we had when I worked at. I was in high school. I worked at the food store, Acme Food Store, and we had Muzak.
Yeah.
No vocals, just music.
All instrumentals of your favorite songs that you can sing along with. Anyway. Muskrat Love and all those good ones.
With Mitch.
Mitch Miller in the gang. Oh my God. I have that vinyl. I'll bring that vinyl in next time. That's
we used to
one day I'm bringing that record.
We used to have that record.
I got it
as part of our main arsenal when I was working for that first mobile company. Sing along with Mitch.
And all that whistling. Really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop everything. Why do we
Stop
have to
playing.
whistle and everything?
Oh no.
Oh, over dinner or a cocktail or something. Yeah. They got played.
Whoa.
Down by the Swanee River and all that stuff.
Yeah, he was always funny to me because he kind of looked like a beatnik, but he was doing this music. So to me, that was humorous as a teenager looking at that because the music was so square, but he looked like a pot smoker to me.
Yeah, because his beard came to a point.
Yeah, and he always had
Whatever
the
you call
little
those.
Kangol beanie on, right? Looking like he's
Yeah.
trying to be all cool.
And his mustache was waxed to curl up just ever so slightly.
Yeah, he just looked like a stoner, but he was doing this
Yeah.
elevator shit.
Drove the
Yeah.
chicks crazy, I'm sure. He was fighting them off back in the day.
And don't forget the sweater. Always had the sweater. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a holiday, Mitch, and okay, yeah,
So look, Burlage looked like that too. It must have been going around. Like
yeah, but it was okay because he was gray haired.
that's what you want to
Yeah.
look. That's what you aspire to be. I want to be round and bearded and have a like
Yeah. And a
beanie
sweater.
toque and a sweater vest. Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget your cardigan sweater. See, now you want to talk about sampling. I think Mr. Rogers was sampling, Sing Along with Mitch with the sweater. You know what I mean?
Well, it was inspired by, yes, influenced by.
Nope,
I always
Fred
kind of
sent him
like
a thank
thought-
you note. Yeah.
More like My Three Sons kind of.
Oh,
thing.
yes. Fred McMurray. Yeah.
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 Very Fred McMurray.
Don't we all have a different pair of shoes we wear in the house that we don't wear outside? Come on, there's nothing strange about that.
So, yeah, I don't even know what this show was about.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be? Let's not get
Anybody
sued.
put their finger on what the hell the subject was this week at the time.
Great compilations, good
Great
records.
compilations.
Yeah.
We mentioned that.
Yeah.
And it's worth looking at your local,
Mhm.
used retailers and try to find some imports because the imports are some bangers. You want to read disc 2? You only read disc 1. You want to give us a rundown on the second disc? We got a minute if you want to.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get my camera to focus again.
Oh,
There we go.
you learn how to white balance your camera with a sheet of paper. See,
Well, that wasn't paper towel. It worked.
Yeah. Anything
Um,
white.
Yeah, you look good.
Let me pull it up here because it's here.
Okay.
Because I don't have my reading glasses.
Got that big old 43-inch screen just shining brightly there.
Yeah, I know. I turned into a ghost. Discogs. It came out in 1992. That totally makes sense. The first one, and then there was a volume 2, which is right here. Snap Rhythm is a dancer.
Hit.
Gabrielle Dreams. Lil Louis French Kiss.
Oh.
Felix, Do You Want Me? Bassheads, everybody out there. Nomad, I Want to Give You Devotion. That was a cool one. Robin S. Show Me Love.
Great song.
KLF, Justified Nation. What Time Is Love would have been preferred, but we'll go with it. Annie Looks Little Bird. Was Not What, Shake Your Head. Utah Saints, Believe in Me. Compel, You Gotta Know. Then it gets really cool as far as I'm concerned. Shaman, Move Any Mountain. I played that one a lot. Expansions, Move Your Body. That was another hot track. Just kind of going through here. DJ Jazzy Jeff, Boom Shake the Room. Ace of Base, All That She Wants. Salt and Pepper, Push It, US Remix.
You think all those were like banging in the time, or were they ahead? Were those? Did they take a while to get?
A little bit of both, depending.
Some of those sound.
Jade, Don't Walk Away. That was
Those are
hot.
great.
SWV, I'm So Into You.
Oh, so they're doing the R&B stuff too, because those are all down.
Yeah,
in the
but it
90s.
all works together. That's what's so beautiful
Mhm.
about these. This stuff shouldn't make sense together, but somebody compiled this, and they know something that you don't.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that
doesn't
yeah,
work.
that In Vogue you said on the first one. Hold on, like that's not really a bang and dance track. No,
It's
that's
not,
a
but
slow grooving, but it's got
but
the energy's right. You know,
For some reason, it works. Whoever programmed this was a genius. They just knew that this stuff, if you like In Vogue, Hold On, you probably also like Too Unlimited, Get Ready for This. For some dumb reason, you do. And that's smart programming as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
This has
Absolutely.
Shanice, I Love Your Smile on it. Just kind of thumbing through here. Adventures of Stevie V, Dirty Cash. Hadaway, What Is Love? Sub, Ain't No Love, Ain't No Use. Too Unlimited,
got that
Tribal
one, yeah.
Dance. Technotronic, Pump Up the Jam, which I think turned up on the first one too. Yeah. Robin Rez, Got to Get That One's fun. It's just
that's the Lily K song, right? Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good one.
She's Dutch.
Everyone forgot about that. And with the bingo, I like the bingo boys too. The Show Me How to Dance ones.
Yes.
Moving together with the right. That one forgets about that. That's a sleeper, but that still makes people want to dance.
Wasn't that with Moni Love? Wasn't she on that?
So yeah.
The rapper. Anyway, yeah, good tune. I always liked that one. And I actually have a copy of the record they sampled for that. The disco dance record, the Step Left or Round and Together with the Right, but nobody cares. But I have that record.
Did you get the original?
Yes, I have the original.
The vocal only, the original a cappella.
It'll be disco dancing with all the best or whatever. Yep.
Do you have all of Jane Fonda's workout videos?
But I had to have the Let's Disco Dancing, Step Left Around and Together with the Right. I had to have that.
I might still have the VHS of Suzanne Summers doing the Thigh Master thing.
Oh, nobody understands why I have it. I'm just that much of a geek.
The fact that you have it is
now,
amazing.
Here's the music. They use that one a lot. Remember that? And that's on that
those
record
drops. Those drops. Yeah, they'd be everywhere.
But I have the original instruction records for that.
I know you're going to dig this.
Neither here nor there, I guess.
We love all those. We're old DJ heads. Yeah.
What I don't have is This Is a Journey into Sound. I want that. That one's cool.
Oh, you do have that. That's what the hell song is that on?
Eric B. and Rocky Paid in Full.
Yeah.
On Paid in Full.
No, it's somewhere else too.
No,
is it on Cantaloupe with Fantasia? Doesn't that have that at the start?
I think a few people use that because I have that on one of my tracks in my.
The first place I heard it was on Paid in Full.
I'm gonna have to look in my library for Paid in Full. That because I do have that. I remember thinking
Eric B. and Rocky on Paid in Full.
Like wow, like it was like like a voice out of nowhere that didn't fit. Like, but this is a journey into music. And I'm like,
this is a journey into sound.
Wow.
Yeah, right. British voice.
But it's not even British. It's just very posh American. This is a journey into sound.
I'll agree with posh. We could take posh and run
Posh is okay.
It's probably on.
I'm better than you voice. Yes, it's exactly
some records thing. I don't know. Let's test our speakers.
Pardon me.
Like the JBL. Let's see how our speakers work. Record you get for free when you buy speakers, which is where Fatboy Slim got Praise You. So that whole loop came from.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's put a fork in it, boys. Thanks for being here.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll let Jay back in next week. Maybe.
Alrighty.
And mix up a little bit. But look at the bright side. Everybody got to get a word in edgewise.
We all did pretty good. And great picks. And great compilation.
You got to talk. Right?
Yeah.
You don't feel like you were walked over. John?
We spoke.
This was too easy.
There was some space. There was a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, nice.
Breathe. Look at that coda in music where you get like a little or a breath. Yes. All right, kids. We'll see you next week.